Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's journal, I would like to talk about how can we respond to someone suffering or other people suffering. It's our human nature to want to share and have someone who hear us, who can understand us, who can sympathize with us, what we are going through. Everyone wants happiness, doesn't want suffering. For this reason, that most people spend entire life looking for comfortable and happy life without any problems. It is really difficult to respond to when someone in suffering, whether that someone has experienced a recent death or trauma or even serious health issues. When someone experiencing suffering, I'm not sure that understanding the causes of the suffering of others change for anything better. The root cause of our suffering lies within our own mind, not in external condition. In fact, even meeting the external condition is something to do with our mind. So the more we understand that our own mind is the source of our suffering, and also fortunately our own mind is the source of our happiness. When it's come to experience of suffering, it doesn't come from outside situations or circumstance. Rather, it's our own mind. There is no external suffering. Up to now, we never experience anything outside of us. Everything we experience within us. So we can only experience or relate to our own mind. Even though the suffering originates in another person's mind, we are feeling that person emotion as our own. That's the experience take place in our mind. We feel that other person emotions as our own emotion. In fact, that emotion generated within us. The reason we feel this way, at deepest level, we are one shared being, appear as many bodies and mind. Ultimately, there is no person experiencing the suffering or in hurt. No, there isn't a person experiencing the suffering. It's the mind created illusion which cause of suffering. So it doesn't really matter what is the cause. If we look for a cause of our suffering or another person's suffering in external world, there isn't an external world. It's just a mind created illusory situation or the reality or condition. We will never find the causes of suffering in external world, because the experience of suffering takes place in our mind, the associated feeling in our body. That is all there is to a suffering. Question your suffering and see what it is there. Same as that, when other people go through a suffering, it's the same thing. It's their own mind created illusory reality. They are suffering within their mind, not in the external world or external circumstance. Whatever is out there, we don't know. The fundamental reality, we in unknowable. So whatever we experience as within us, that's our functions of our mind. So the suffering is either we experience or the other people experiencing, all taking place within their own mind. Even for us to respond to someone suffering, we are only experiencing other people's suffering within our mind. So to help other people or respond to other people's mind, only you can relate to your own mind and you experience other people's suffering within us, in our mind, as other people feeling. That's because at the deepest level, we are all one shared being. So how can we respond to other people's suffering? In order for us to respond to other people's suffering, first we need to become aware of our content of our mind. Is very important. Before you help other people, we need to have understanding or aware of our mind activity. Because when you want to help other people, it's reflecting in your mind. You don't have access to other people's mind. Because if we don't have an understanding about our mind, otherwise we will be projecting our limited beliefs into others. In order for us to help other people, the best response should always come from our deepest love for other person or the person we are trying to help who is currently experiencing the suffering. So how can we respond to other people's suffering? Our response may vary person to person, depends on the situation and circumstance. One day we may be empathize with that particular person who is suffering and try to understand their point of view and agree with them and help them morally. Maybe another day we may need to take a different approach, what would be a tougher approach, to make them investigate the illusory nature of suffering or the causes of suffering, to make them understand the illusory story about the suffering. So it is very, so if we are to respond to somebody or if you want to help someone suffering, the first we need to become aware of our mind and the activity. From that, you respond with your intuition and the deepest love for other person is very important. Rather than projecting your own limitation into other people, one day you might say, yes, I do understand, you empathize with them. So another day you say, you know what, maybe you need to show them the tough love, which is you probably need to break it down and ask them to see who is really suffering. Is there a person within them is really experiencing the suffering? Or you may need to show them the illusory nature of the suffering. It varies to vary, but the bottom line is, if you had to help other person, first you become as aware of your mind, then follow your intuition and the deep love you have for other person. That is a guiding principle. Do not project your own limitation into others when you come to helping other people suffering, because that's the key, is very important. Because without having an understanding about ourselves, we shouldn't be helping other people. Otherwise, we will be projecting our own limited beliefs into others and trying to solve their own issue. Always your response should come from your deepest love for another person. That will be the starting point.